Hello guys and welcome back to Current Technologies. I'm Michael and you are watching the Complete Android Development Diploma for Beginners. In the last video, you already wrote your first Java program, and today we're gonna talk about very important topic in Java, which is Java variable. So what is Java variable? A Java variable simply it's a place in memory where you can store data or values. So it's used in Java to store values and later you can access these values to do some operations or calculations or giving an output to the user and so on. So variable is a name of reserved area allocated in memory which holds the value while the Java program is executed. Like, for example, if you have a number and you want to store that number so you can later do some calculations on that number, you can store the number in a variable. So you can have access later to that number. So number or a variable has a name and a data type. Every variable in Java has the two name and data type. Name, which should be a unique name to identify that variable, and a data type, which gives you an idea about the type of value stored in that variable. Like, for example, is it a text or a number or a decimal number and so on. And we will talk later about data type in details in the next video. Next, what you should know about the variables is types of variables. We have three types of variables in Java, which are local, global, and static. Local variable, global variable, and static variable. In this video, we're gonna talk about only local and global variable. And we will talk about static variables later when we go to discuss object-oriented programming. So when we reach the OOP part, we will talk about static. So now let's know what is a local variable. A local variable is declared inside the body of the method, and any other methods in Java class is not aware about that variable. And of course, it cannot access it. And it cannot also declared as a static variable. But on the other hand, a global variable is declared inside the class but outside the body of the method. So it can be accessed in all methods inside that class. Okay, that is types of variables. Now let's go to see that in code. So here is a Java program that we already wrote in the last video. It's a very simple program, only displaying the text hello world on the screen. So this hello world is a value, a text value that we are using to print it on the screen. Now let's save it, let's store it in a variable. Let's see how we're gonna do that. So we will type the data type of this value, which is string, which means a text. Okay, and then we will give it a name simple. Sorry, we will call it variable example. We can give it any name we want. Okay, and then we will store that value inside the variable that we just created. And here in the print statement, we can display the value inside that variable. It's an operation on that variable or a usage to this variable. So let's run our program and see our output. Yes, hello world. So it's the same. This is the use of variable in programming or in Java. As we already said, a variable consists of a data type, which is here in our case a string, and a variable name, I called it variable example. You can give it any name you want. And here on the right side, the value stored in that variable called variable example. And in this line, we used the variable to display the value stored on the screen. Okay. Let's have another example, which is int. Int means integer, so we're gonna store a number, and I will call it var1 equal 10. And don't forget the semicolon. Here, let's copy, paste, and I will print var1 also. So let's run again. Yeah, hello world, and then 10. So this was a simple example for variables. One more thing I want to say before we end this video. I want to talk about naming in Java. Naming is to give names while coding. So package name should begin with lowercase letter. If you don't know what is package, you can consider it as like a folder that consists of multiple classes or whole classes. So when you create a package to hold classes, you should name it with lowercase. But class name should begin with uppercase. So class is the opposite to package. Class name must begin with uppercase. Also, variables and methods should begin with lowercase, the same as package. So only our class name should begin with uppercase. One thing also you should know, all names must not contain any space. Don't put any space inside names. Try to give a meaningful names while coding. So it will make it easy for you to understand the code while reading it. Here in the code, as you can see, this is the class name hello. It begins with uppercase letter. The main method that contains our code, it begins with a small letter. Also our variables, variable example and var1, both of them began with small letter. Okay. So that's all for this video. If you find it helpful, please like and share. Also subscribe to our channel, and see you in the next video.